Hello, Star Fox fans. Mr. Krystal here, and in celebration for the Star Fox Adventures 20th anniversary, what better time to show off my Star Fox collection? As you can see, it's quite extensive and covers 2 whole tables, so I might have to break this video up in 2 pieces where I move the table halfway through. So let's just jump right in and start covering the different things here. I want to talk about each individual thing, what it means and its significance. So let's start at the beginning. This is Nintendo Power's E3 2000 coverage. This is issue number 134. And you can see here is a clear picture of Krystal fighting Galdon in Dinosaur Planet. This would have been my very first time seeing Krystal ever in any capacity. You have to remember that this is back before internet connectivity was really common, so a lot of our gaming news came from gaming magazines, and I would see a lot from Nintendo Power, and as well as all the other gaming magazines at the time, where I got a lot of my information. So seeing this, and then in other issues where they talked about E3 coverage, they talked about Star Fox Adventures specifically and the character of Krystal. This would have been my first exposure to Krystal. But of course, back then, I wasn't really a fan so much of Krystal. It would take after Star Fox Adventures to come out for me to really be a huge fan. I was a big fan of Star Fox itself prior to that, but remember, Dinosaur Planet wasn't a Star Fox game at first. So this would be my very first time seeing Krystal. At the time, of course, I was in high school, and Pokemon Gold was the big deal at the time, so that's mostly what I was focused on at this time. A few months later, in issue 138, as we covered in a recent post on the site, this would have been the first Krystal fan art what we know of from Leia of Las Vegas, Nevada, where she must have based this on the promo imagery from Rare's website. And you can see that Nintendo Power used her envelope art as their featured art because it shows up here and it shows up in the background for the credits for the magazine on this page and the second page. Let's move on. I have, of course, 2 copies of Star Fox Zero Player's Guide from Prima, one of which is still sealed. That comes with a poster. I've got this poster from Fox, Super Smash Bros. Fox. I think this is from the time of Brawl. This was given to me by a local friend who I think recognized that I was a Star Fox fan, but I'm pretty sure he didn't know that I ran the Krystal Archive. This is these are my 3 Star Fox shirts. We've got the Star Fox Zero R-Wing diagram shirt. We've got the Sector Z shirt. Very cool. I really like this shirt. And I think this is called the Fox Hero shirt with the different polygonal R-Wings and the semi-realistic Fox McCloud. Moving back over here, a fairly recent purchase. I managed to find 3 Nintendo Powers from back in the 90s that have the actual Star Fox comics in them. I could have gotten a couple more, but by the time I went to buy more of these issues with the Star Fox comics in them, someone else had picked them up. I might try and collect my collection, or finish my collection of these at a later date, but I wasn't really into Star Fox until Star Fox 64, so this was kind of below my radar at the time. So I've never actually, I never really saw these comics back in the day. Next, we have a Nintendo Power that's not so much related to Star Fox in general, but it did have a feature about gaming's greatest couples. And the thing that caught my attention was that they rated Fox and Krystal as their number 10. And if you read the detail here, it talks about their relationship in command and it being somewhat rocky with the different endings. They're not sure where it's going to go in the long term. Then we have Star Fox Adventures Nintendo Power. I think this is from October 2002. This, as you can see, there's a blue here. This is to block out my real name. You'll find some blue tags and other items on this table as we get to it. I never got the Assault one, but I have the Adventure one. And then this one I got just from a store. This is for Star Fox 64 3D, which I just purchased. This is when I was in my master's program, to tell you the difference. So finishing high school, Star Fox Adventures, all the way in master's program to for Star Fox 64 3D. That's how long they took between them. Also around that time, the Retro Gamer magazine did a feature on the making of Star Fox, so I picked that up. That's nice. Now, Playing with Power, Super Power, this is a book about the Super NES. Great book, lots of detail about the different Super NES games. And they talk about various things, including Star Fox, and that's cool. But the reason why I picked up this book in particular is this Superfans section, because at the very end, they have a feature about Star Fox Online, which is actually a website that I helped develop. It was, well, it's a long story, but needless to say, I was one of 2 people that helped restore the site way back in the day. I'm going to try and find the right page here. I think it's 3 something. Here we are. So they did a whole page spread on Star Fox Online. And the key thing here is, if I can find it, right here. I'm mentioned as one of the 2 community members restoring the site in 2004, DZ Composer and Mr. Krystal. So I am officially published in a video game book, so that's pretty cool. You also see these things, the default WordPress theme, the theme that I made. I made this theme, I made this theme, or this theme, I think. No, that's the somewhat current theme. I did not make these 2. This is what it currently somewhat looks like. This is what it looked like for years, and this was my design. So pretty cool to get called out like that, especially since I had mostly left the site by the time this book came out, but they were, the fans of the site, the people running the site were good enough to mention my role in its past. Okay, so that's the first table. So I'm going to move the first table out of the way so I can approach the back portion. All right, so let's continue. This is going to be mostly the games and the fan art. So let's start over here on the left with the actual games. We have Star Fox Zero and Star Fox Guard in their dual package, one of which is unopened. I think it's the back one. We've got Star Fox 64 3D for the 3DS. We have Star Fox 64, my original copy, back in the day. We have Star Fox Adventures, the 1.0, the Player's Choice version, 1.0.1, and the Blockbuster version, which is just the Player's Choice version, but with a different box. So that was pretty cool to find, but unfortunately there's no difference in the code. We have Star Fox Assault, the original I got back in 2004, I believe. We have Star Fox Command, that most hated of games, although I thought it was, okay for the time. The Japanese version of Star Fox Adventures and Assault, which I particularly like the Adventures one because they put a little comic on the back. Bad Luck General. We have the box and game for the Japanese version of Star Fox for the Super NES. I'm not sure if this is sealed or not, probably not, but the Japanese people seem to take really good care of their games, so this was not very expensive at all. Then we have this, very interesting, the interactive multi-game demo disc from July 2002. This was one of the first things I talked about on the Krystal Archive back when I made it in 2006. I put out a $100 bounty for someone to find this for me because it contained the demo version of Star Fox Adventures, and I knew that there were some differences. Someone was nice enough to find it, and they sent it to me, and then didn't want the bounty. So thanks so much for that guy who did that and found it for me. This kind of disc, this demo version of Star Fox Adventures, was significant in that it contained a lot of data that the final version of the game didn't have from the development process of moving Dinosaur Planet to Star Fox Adventures. So until that leak last year or the year before, where they showed off a development version of Dinosaur Planet in its entirety, the software and data on this disk was the primary source of research into Dinosaur Planet. So that's pretty cool to have. Also, this is fairly recently. I never actually owned the original Star Fox for the Super NES for many years, and I only acquired this a few weeks ago as I've started to complete out my retro game collection. Let's continue on with Starlink. As you can see, I have quite a few, 19 in total, in fact. I have my original that I purchased back when it first came out. I think I went like the day of launch. I was like, hey, what was it? GameStop. Are you gonna do a midnight launch? Because I'll come for a midnight launch. And they're like, no, we're not doing that. So I did not realize that it was not as popular as we had anticipated. Unfortunately, it got the short end of a stick, and it's too bad. The game ended up being fairly repetitive, but the Star Fox segments and the DLC associated with it were very, very popular for the game. It did really well on the, well, relatively well on the Switch compared to the Xbox and PlayStation, of course. So I've got my copy of the R-Wing and Fox McCloud in there with the controller connector, and I have a total of these 19 copies. Best Buy was selling them one year for about $5 a piece. Unfortunately, they don't have a game cart, so it's just the toys and a download code. Only my original one actually came with a flash cart for a Switch cartridge. Continuing on to the left, we have the World of Nintendo Star Fox figures, all unopened. We got Fox, Falco, Peppy, and Slippy. I originally bought them so I could do like an unboxing video, and then I just never did it. So now they're probably worth a lot more because they were never opened. Over here, we're getting into custom stuff by fans. So we have first here this little figurine. This is by Finnish artist, sculptor, GoLab8. He made this and put it up for auction, and I apparently was the only one who bid on it, so she's mine now. A very nice statue. We have this. This is what we call a crystal charm, because it's kind of intended to be from a keychain or a necklace or whatever, and it's got this dangling tail. This was a feature of all of her models. This was made by Zin. She did a lot of charms, and she would do a bunch of characters. I saw her at a convention, and I was like, why don't you have a crystal charm? And she's like, you know what, you're right, let's do that. So in collaboration with her, we did that. We focused on it, his various posts on the Krystal Archive, and a bunch of people on the Krystal Archive ended up purchasing one. And I believe Ayano Haramaki also purchased both this one and the Assault version. This is a 3D print using a resin 3D printer, so different from the traditional 3D print mechanism, because these print upside down. So it actually prints from this raft at the top, up and down, until it builds the whole thing using liquid resin. The person who made this, he didn't make the model, but he just prepared it and printed it for me to test out his printer, and just as a very nice gesture, decided to send it to me. This was sent to me by Zevulus, so thanks to him. I chose not to remove the stand pieces that hold her in place as it prints, because I kind of like the look of it, but normally you would snap these pieces off, these side scaffolding, pull that off, and then you would paint her with an air gun or whatever, and that's the same way that they make figurines for like Japanese anime characters. It's the exact same process. So really cool. I'd like to experiment with this kind of thing. I do have a 3D printer like this. I've just never gotten into it yet. So hopefully in the near future, I'll have a nice high resolution crystal print like this of my own design. Speaking of 3D prints, down here we have my Krystal trophy from Smash Brothers. I decided to take the trophy 3D model file and modified it to be compatible with 3D printing, because there was a lot of holes and issues with her hair, and it printed pretty much perfectly on the first try. I was very surprised. I made this model available for free, so you can download and print this yourself. You can just find the link on the Krystal Archive. But this was the first major print. I also tried multiple prints of her head just by itself and larger. Those didn't come out so well, but I'd been experimenting with various things. Now my current project is trying to recreate Krystal's staff from scratch. This is a test print of the bottom of the staff. As you can see, it's the 4-prong metal base with the center part, which will be some kind of clear material, and it attaches to the shaft up here. This was just to get a feel for the physical size of the thing. And likewise, here is the version of the staff's head from the Smash Brothers model from for the Switch, the Super Smash Brothers for the Switch. So with very little modification, this is what it looks like. It's got, you can see the polygonal sides, but these circles and this center part here were made smooth. And I've made it so this can actually attach to a staff. But this was, again, just trying to get a feel for how big it would be. In the end, when I create this for real, it'll be, of course, very smooth, and hopefully we'll have moving parts, glowing parts, and maybe, if I can fit it in, some sound effects and some smoke effects, believe it or not. Next, let's go over to this side, and we see my Amiibo. So we've got Fox and Falco from Smash Brothers. Got these back when they first came out. Then I also got these Amiibo. This Fox McCloud came for free with my copy, my unopened copy of for Star Fox Zero. And then I got the Wolf when he came out much later. So those two are unopened. Continuing down, we have the Power A Fox McCloud statue. This is unopened. I think they only made 5,000 of these. I actually bought two, and the other one I had on display, and it was great, and then during a move, it broke. So I had to throw it away, unfortunately. So that's actually 4,999 are left, apparently. Not the full 5,000. This is the infamous Star Fox Adventures Survival Kit, given as a promotional material for a reserve of Star Fox Adventures from Circuit City. Remember that? Yeah, they don't exist anymore. So this was just, it came in a box, and it showed off different things, and comically, it comes with a Fox Fuel Jones soda. This is unopened, so it's probably rancid and terrible, but it's still green, so that's cool. It came with some toilet paper with game tips on it. So most of it's pretty bland, brain dead type tips. Everybody knows these, but that's pretty funny. It also lastly came with this door hanger, keep out kind of door hanger. What is on the other side? Yeah, same thing on the other side. And then this wasn't per se with this kit, but they were giving them out for free at the same location. The Star Fox Adventures air freshener. I actually got two of these, and my other one has been in my car in various ways since I had a car. Star Fox Adventures, picking up my reserved copy of Star Fox Adventures was actually one of the very first trips I made in a car by myself. I had just gotten my driver's permit. So ever since I've had a car, I've had a Star Fox air freshener hanging from the rearview mirror, at least for a while. Back in 2014, my car crashed, or actually someone crashed into me when I was sitting on the side of the road, and it damaged the string. So I still have it, but I need to restring it so I can put it back on there. So that's pretty cool. Let's continue along the back as we look at fan art and things. Well, actually, let me start over on this side. So this is a custom commission by Halulu. She's a great artist and did exactly what I asked her for. An adventure slash assault style picture with Krystal competently flying an R-Wing with the staff in the background. Very cool, nice work. You can find the full resolution image on the site, but this is a physical copy that I got from her at a later convention. Then we have this. This is one of the first things I ever posted to the Krystal Archive back when I made it in 2006. This is a character sheet by Morningstar, commissioned by Tobias Amarath. Tobias Amarath. He wanted a Krystal character reference sheet, and he informed me that this work was going on, and so to do so, I was to cover her progress on the sheet showing the various progress images. And as a thank you for me covering it, she sent me a physical copy, and she sent me this original work, which is Krystal in a chibi style. And she sent this is the original actual colored marker painting, not a print. So you can find the digital scan on her DeviantArt gallery, but this is the original version. Very cool to have that. This is a Krystal fan art print that I got just at a furry convention. My figurine fell over. Whoops. Sorry about that. You gotta stand up. Okay. They got it at a furry convention. This is by Ononako. Just one of the many prints he was offering. Then we have one of the most emotive, I think, one of the most emotive bead art artworks by Commander D. He did a lot of bead art, and I purchased one of them. It's Krystal kneeling, kind of almost in a praying stance, looking up at the sky. And then there is this. This is not fan art. This is the Nintendo 2004 E3 press kit. This is where I got a lot of the digital promotional artwork for Star Fox Assault that I would later post on the site. It had the press kit, which is mostly like paperwork describing the games, and then this game disc, which contains a bunch of high-resolution images. Now they distribute stuff like this via their website, but back in the day, they would pass these out as physical discs. So that's pretty cool. Got it on eBay. I don't know what they go for now, but it's probably pretty rare. Moving right along over into the Player's Guide section. We have my original Star Fox 64 Player's Guide. Very, very cool because it contains a lot of lore not seen anywhere else in any of the games or the instruction manuals or the comics. It's just like details on the technical attributes of the various planets and the history of the planets and what they did prior to being invaded by Andross. We have a Japanese Star Fox 64 Perfect Program Player's Guide, one of several Star Fox 64 Player's Guides, I believe. We have the 2 Star Fox Assault Player's Guides. I forget what the subtitle of this one is, but this is the Star Fox Assault Perfect Guide, which was featured on Twitter recently. I've had this for years. Great guide. Has some good artwork that we didn't get in America. We have the Japanese version of Japanese Star Fox Assault Adventures Player's Guide, the English Star Fox Adventures Player's Guide, and I have 2 copies of that. We have the original Star Fox Assault Player's Guide from America, and we have the Star Fox Command Player's Guide from Japan. This one's great because in addition to telling you how to beat the game, the various stages, and all of character attributes, it has something that no other information source has, as far as I know, which is detailed stats about every single enemy. If you played the game, if you played Star Fox Command, you'll know that there are actually like several hundred enemies, or maybe 100 enemies. It's a lot. And they're not really detailed anywhere. There's not a lot of detail about them in the instruction booklet or in the game itself. And so this is kind of like the only place to really find this information. So that's pretty cool. Not a player's guide, but this is the famous Star Fox 4-Koma. In Japan, they have something called 4-Koma comics. They're like the equivalent of newspaper comics, where there are 4 panels exactly, and they're usually funny or a parody or something like that. So this is basically making fun of the entire concept of Star Fox Adventures and the characters and little puns throughout. You can find the translated English version online pretty easily. I highly encourage you to read it. And I don't know how she did it, but Ayano Haramaki managed to find this in Japan and brought it along with her when she came to see us in America at one of the furry conventions. So thank you very much, Ayano for that. She actually got me several other things, which I'll be talking about in a minute. Some of Ayano's friends made these Star Fox art books. This is one of them, but they do them almost every year, just different Star Fox art, fan art in here, and likewise Star Fox fan art in the yearly Star Fox calendar. So this is the Star Fox calendar from 2017. It's got a lot of different, I guess it was the year of the rooster or something like that. So lots of fan art on that. They do one every year. I think they're working on one right now for the year 2023. So check that out if you want to buy it. They'll have them available, but they're only available for a limited time. Another gift from Ayano Haramaki is this sadly unassembled Star Fox and let's see, Star Fox and the sub game was called. I forget what it's called, but it's the submarine game for the DS back in the day, or it was a 3DS. Yeah, it was a 3DS. When Star Fox 64 3D came out, they released these buildable models for the R-Wing, the Landmaster, and the Blue Marine. And Ayano brought these as a gift one time, and it was super nice of her. I never actually assembled it because I wanted to do it again for a video, which I never got around to doing. So maybe I'll do that someday. These are extremely rare now, like very, very, very rare. I should have just purchased like 10 of them when I had the chance. Let's continue on all the way over here to the left and look at some of the last items we have. So when I purchased those t-shirts, the Star Fox t-shirts, some of the things they sent with me is this R-Wing sticker and this Andros pin. It's kind of hard to see, but that's like the polygonal Andros. This is the actual fabric patch that you can sew into a jacket or whatever. This came as a pre-order bonus for Star Fox Zero, I believe. This is a Krystal keychain, very cute chibi style, and it is by, who made this? Naily. She's made these a couple times and they always sell out. So I managed to get one back in the day. And then this is the Star Fox symbol, of course, as a, I believe this is a tie tack. I think my brother-in-law got me this when I was going to appear in his wedding between him and my sister. And so they got us like stuff that we would like, as like stuff we were fans of for like our tie tacks and our for our cufflinks. So I was wearing this on my tie for her wedding, so that was pretty cool. Here we have the first issue of Star Fox Adventures, the comic by Abby Davis, aka Pumpkin Soup, aka Abby Stabby. This is the signed copy of her print of the first comic from 2019. And you can read her comic online. So all the stuff in this comic should already be available online for your viewing pleasure. She's in the middle of working through episode 2. And as a subscriber on Patreon, she sent a physical copy. So that was pretty cool. She also sent these as a physical copy. Some stickers, one with Fox and Tricky and another with Krystal and Kite. So if you haven't read the story yet, it's great. You should read it. We're going to get down in here into some fan art and things. So this is fairly recently. This is from 2021, I believe. A local friend of mine who knew I was a Krystal fan sent me this custom Krystal artwork as a Christmas card. And I featured this on the website with her permission. Very neat that she sent this out of the blue. I didn't even know she was sending it. We have this artwork, which is by Eleni Kimball. And I'm embarrassed to say I don't remember where I got this. I got this in 2016, And I'm pretty sure it was one of the artists I commissioned, but I can't remember which artist I commissioned that did this. But she made this kind of like as a quick sketch while I was at the convention, and then later on continued and made the final commission that we agreed upon later on. It was not based on this image. She just felt like drawing her, and so she just gave me this. That was pretty cool. We have two of the original sketch works from some of my first Krystal commissions by Burning Donut. I wanted to purchase, he had such cheap commissions that I purchased two commissions at once. And he was so happy that I did that. He actually did three commissions for the price of two. So this is the Adventures version of Krystal, and this is the Assault version of Krystal, and I think he did a Command one. I can't remember off the top of my head. They're all on the Krystal archive in the finished digital product. But my prompt was Krystal in action poses. So he did a great job. Down here, somebody just sent me another Krystal Christmas card. So that was really cool of that person. I forget who it was. From Krystal. And True Katsuni sent me this with the DAZ 3D Krystal model. So that's pretty cool. Thank you for that. Then we have this. This is kind of a crossover with Cindy. This is Blue Cindy from the webcomic Fox Paws, a fun little newspaper style comic online. You can find it. And they did a crossover event where they had one of the main characters who's actually a feral fox dressed up like Krystal. And I purchased 3 different copies of this. So 10 out of 100. So there were 100 copies. I think I have 3 copies. And lastly, down here, we have a couple of things from Alesia Glidewell. So Alesia Glidewell, when I interviewed her years and years ago for the site, she later on sent me the CD, which contained her original voice acting clips to give out to studios, showing off her ability as a voice actress, and it included some of her voice acting demos of Krystal, the character. And you can find the audio files for this on the website. Later on, when someone else interviewed Alesia Glidewell about her role as Krystal and Camilla Fox and Carmelita and Samus Aran, he did what I should have done, which was get my copy of Star Fox Assault signed. I didn't really even think to do that. But he did also make a print of her photo and a bunch of characters and had it signed. And as a very nice gesture, he decided to have her sign one for me. So it's to my real name, Big Hugs, Alesia Glidewell. And so he sent that to me. So I think that's it. That's all of my Star Fox collection. Just a tremendous amount of stuff. And all of this stuff is not usually on display. It's usually in boxes or with my other video games. So it took quite a bit to put this all together. I hope you've all enjoyed, and I can't wait to see all of your collections. So don't delay, and let's put that up on YouTube or with photos, send them to the site, and we can see what you've collected as a Star Fox fan. Anyway, I'm Mr. Krystal signing off. Thanks for listening. And I just realized I forgot a couple things. So let's do those last couple things. So this is something I found recently. This is, I believe, a German-based book called 1000 Game Heroes. And it has a section on Star Fox. And it's got the info in English, French, and German. And it's got a bunch of artwork. And critically, this is one of the few times that we see Krystal in print. So there you go. When I saw that, I had to have it. And then something that was on the table, but I forgot to talk about, is this. Fairly recently discovered a 2002 promotional material booklet, I think, Um, we're not sure where these came from. Pretty sure it's not E3, but it might have been another gaming convention where this apparently was given out to either fans or the press or something, and it talks about the game, the different characters, and Krystal's there. It's mostly a rehash of what's in the instruction booklet. But yeah, this is a relatively unseen piece of Star Fox Adventures history. So those two things got kind of left out of the collection. Sorry about that. I might yet have even more things that I have forgotten about. So if I do that, I'll post about it on the site. Later.